It often said, health is wealth. Good evening or good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another edifying edition of the program You're in Your Health at on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Imagine someone sleeping while carrying out routine activities such as sleeping, walking, eating, despite having slept for at least 8 hours at night. It's strange, right? But it's very possible. That's why this time around we're looking at a special topic, which is narcolepsy, a health condition which can be treated, but you must meet the right expert. Before introducing our guest of the day, let me introduce my co-host, Ese Lucille. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Always a pleasure, Immaculate Fogwe, and good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers out there.
My guest tonight is a sleep specialist. He's known as Dr. Jephte MBANGUE. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Good day, doctor.
Good day. I'm very happy to be among you people, Lucy and yourself. And every time you call me to come and give explanations,
you're always available.
I'm always available because I feel myself invested with the mission of sensibilizing the Cameroonian population about sleep disorders.
And we are so grateful to have you on the program.
Yes. But I tell you that my English is very approximative.
We can get you clearly already. Lucy, you can get Dr.
Of
right?
course, fluently.
Exactly. So my guest tonight is Dr. Jephte MBANGUE, and he's based right here in the city of Douala, where his main place where he's based is in Bonapreso. That's it, right?
Yes, near Tech Center.
Exactly. We are looking at narcolepsy today. What's it all about?
Narcolepsy is one of the causes of involuntary sleep during daytime. It's not the only cause. There are 2 or 3 other diseases. There are even many diseases that can cause involuntary sleep during daytime. Though narcolepsy is one of the main cause of the sleep. So a narcoleptic person is a person that sleeps well during night times in terms of quantity and in terms of quality, but still sleep during daytime. Okay? So the time of sleep is elevated, and so you have different sorts. There are some who are narcoleptic, but they are not hypersomniac. It means that they don't sleep more than 11 hours per day. Their time of sleep is normal, but they sleep involuntarily during the daytime, and their sleep in the night is okay.
Wow.
Okay.
What can cause this condition?
Now, the causes are basically unclarified, but the scientists say that one of the causes can be the destruction of some neurons in the brain that are responsible of wake, l'éveil.
Okay.
Because when you are awake, it means that there are centers of that in the brain, and when you sleep, there are centers for sleep. You see, so there are neurons to make you awake, and there are neurons to make you sleep, and the neurotransmitters are different. So the neurons that have neurotransmissions for wake, when they are destroyed, you start now having the tendency to sleep involuntarily. Okay? So it's the cause of the narcolepsy, one of the causes that is known is the destruction of these neurons. But you can have hypersomnia, idiopathic hypersomnia, that looks very, very near to narcolepsy, but who has nothing to do with the destruction of neurons. Okay, so it becomes something a bit dark, so that we understand part of it, and there are things that we don't understand up to now.
Okay. And what are some of the symptoms, and are they similar to sleep disorders?
The sleep disorders are very, 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 very diversified. The main sleep disorder, indeed, is not being able to sleep.
So
yes, because you know that we need sleep more than food. You can remain more than 20 days without eating, but 11 days without sleeping at all, you die.
Wow.
Yes. So sleep is very necessary. And so one of the main sleep disorder that we face is the incapacity of having a good sleep in terms of quantity and quality. And that's what we call insomnia in common language.
So what are some of those symptoms that we might consider that we don't sleep?
Yeah.
Symptoms.
No. I want to finish with narcolepsy. How does it manifest itself?
Okay.
Yeah.
It manifests itself by what I told you, involuntary sleep during daytime. And narcolepsy will be talking like I'm talking with you like that. And suddenly it falls and starts sleeping deeply. Okay?
It can be funny.
Yeah, it can be very funny.
Very funny.
A woman is discussing with the husband in the kitchen, and then the husband just falls
And sleep.
Oh
la la. I don't even want to imagine that.
Because
we call it in French les attaques de sommeil. In English, you can call it sleep attack. Okay. So it's an attack. Whether he likes it or not, wherever he is, whatever he's doing, he just sleeps. Okay, it's a sleep attack, and this is one of the main symptoms. But the other one is that he sleeps quite okay during the night, so it's not in lack of sleep. It's not in lack of sleep. He sleeps involuntarily during the time because he's sick. It's not because he's in lack of sleep. You understand? This is the main symptom, and you can add to it dozing all the time during the morning time, in the afternoon is always dozing. But the sleep attack is a strange phenomenon. It's a wonderful phenomenon that it can sleep deeply, suddenly, involuntarily.
And imagine the case where someone is driving and this just happens. You can imagine what can happen in the space of 1 second.
Yes,
it's very dangerous. Lucy.
It's extremely dangerous for a narcoleptic
to drive.
For
sure.
Yes. For sure. It should be under treatment, and we should assess that treatment to make sure that the treatment is successful, to give him the right to drive. But it is basically very, very unsafe for a narcoleptic to drive.
And that is why, doctor, we need to be diagnosed. So how is the disease diagnosed in our country?
First of all, clinically, as I'm telling you, a patient will come telling you that I sleep all the time. Maybe it's a student. It tells you as soon as I sleep in the school, when I come to school, I sit down. The first lesson, I start sleeping. Wow. And the teachers are against it, and we have a problem with the teachers and so on. So that one has this sleeping tendency. Okay, sleep attacks, dozing all the day, and then now we take him in the lab to do some laboratory tests, what we call test itératif de latence d'endormissement. We would make him sleep 5 times during the day.
Okay.
We put him on in the night in the room, a totally dark room, and tell him to sleep, and we register the sleep. Okay, and then we see the nature of that sleep. If it's narcoleptic, it will have the tendency to sleep in REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Okay, it means that from the time you switch off the lights, in 15 minutes, 15 minutes, he will be sleeping and in the REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Rapid eye movement sleep is a particular sleep because the sleep that you see is different. We have 4 types of sleep. Wow. When you sleep, you have 4 types of sleep. And the machine will tell you that that person goes very rapidly into the rapid eye movement sleep. So he's narcoleptic. That's one of the physical signs to make sure that the person is narcoleptic. Now there are biological, molecular biological tests, but we don't do them in Cameroon because there's no lab who can do it, and it's very costly, and it's not really necessary. But in France, there's very, very advanced laboratory that can do these tests. We call it DKB D602. We take the blood, we take the white cells in the blood, and they do that test on the white cell blood. Wow. Okay. So, but this one is not necessary for now.
Okay. For those who like to participate in the program, here are the numbers: 670 54 70 49. I repeat, 670 54 70 49 or 656 622222. 656 622222. Coming back to you, doctor, how often do you receive cases of people who are narcoleptic? Is the prevalence rate high?
No, the prevalence is not very high, but you cannot really appreciate the prevalence since people are not aware of. People are suffering of this disease around the country and around Africa, but there are very few doctors who are aware of this sick, who know what to do, who have the lab. For instance, in Douala here, my lab is the only lab really
that is very functional.
Functional, because with somebody who has been trained. It's not because you bought an apparatus that you make a lab.
Exactly.
You need lab. A lab is first of all the person who works in the lab, who has the correct knowledge. Okay, so the sleep lab are very scarce. I mean, I don't know whether there's at least one good sleep lab in Yaoundé. Maybe there is one. In Douala, my lab is the only one. And Cameroon is advantage because around Central Africa we will not see any sleep lab. See, so there is a lot of ignorance, and the patient will not come to the doctor. They will not come easily. But for now, out of 100 patients that come, we can have one who have narcolepsy.
Now, does narcolepsy have anything to do with age?
No, no. The good number of them are young people. They are good. They are young people. Yes, they are young people.
And if they are young people, because Ima, there are so many cases of this disease or this condition that people tend to minimize. Like you find somebody sleeping, but he or she just think that no, it's just my nature. I was born like that. When I just sit somewhere, I start sleeping, or when I'm talking to you, I start sleeping. So now, what are the treatment options available?
The treatment, but first of all, it's not because somebody does this every time. I mean, does it means somnolé in French.
Yeah.
That is narcoleptic. No. There are a lot of causes that can bring somebody
to be narcoleptic.
No, not to be narcoleptic.
To be sleeping, or to have sleep disorder.
Yeah, to have this tendency to sleep or to doze. One of the main is, of course, narcolepsy, idiopathic hypersomnia, recurrent hypersomnia, and you can have one of the main causes is also apnea, sleep apnea. You see somebody dozing all the time, he can be sleep apneic. Okay, so there are a lot of causes. There can be, I can tell you about 10 causes, diseases that can cause this dozing and this sleep tendency. But narcoleptic is one of them. Okay, so your question was what?
My question is, in Cameroon, what are some of the treatment methods available?
Okay, the treatment is basically made of drugs, what we call the psychostimulants.
Stimulants.
Yeah.
Okay.
These drugs are there to stimulate the brain, to make it function fast, because a brain that sleeps reduces the functioning. Okay, there's a slowdown of the functioning. That's why you sleep. But now, not to make you not to sleep, is to just to give you the sort of to boost it. And these drugs are there, psychostimulant, to make people remain awake instead of being sleeping. So these are drugs. They are very scarce. They are very rare. Sometimes they are very dear. And they are very scarce in Cameroon. That's the real question for the patient. To find these drugs is very, very, very complicated.
And are there some lifestyle conditions or lifestyle changes that we can consider in order to avoid this condition, like narcolepsy?
To avoid it, no, the causes not being clarified. How can you avoid it?
Like to say, what we eat.
No.
Maybe our stress pattern, to say when you go to work, when you overstress, it might cause you to have this condition. Are there some lifestyle changes?
There's a lifestyle to avoid the tendency to sleep or the tendency to doze. For instance, if you don't sleep well, sufficiently, in terms of quantity and in terms of quality in the night, you have a tendency to doze during the day. It's a sort of, I can say in French, un sommeil compensatoire, a compensatory sleep.
It's
compensatory sleep because you don't sleep enough in the night, so you have a sleep during the day to compensate. Okay, and there are this apneic syndrome, which can also cause can cause dozing during daytime. So there is a life hygiene to avoid dozing during daytime. So have a good sleep for instance, is one of the life hygiene. But I cannot tell you that avoid this food, avoid this, avoid this. It doesn't mean anything. People who are narcoleptic are not guilty of having eaten this food instead of this one. You understand?
Okay.
And what about someone who is overweight equally?
Somebody who suffer from obesity, these people have tendency.
We have a call on the line. We'll come back to that question. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Your name, where you're calling from, and your question.
Good afternoon, madam. I've seen a doctor who's giving his the Equinoxe here because of somebody that was not sick. I went to check with the doctor. I don't know if I have the doctor.
Call after the program.
Yes,
you can call after the program for more information about where he's located.
Yes, you call Immaculate. He will take you.
For sure.
He will hold your hand and take it in.
For sure. Okay. But any question for the program?
I want to know how can I have the doctor, to get the doctor, what doctor is working.
Okay, you call after the program for more information on that, please.
Yes.
We have another call on the line. Hello?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, your question, and your question.
Yeah. So I'm calling from Limbe. Mr. Peter.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So my question goes to the doctor that some people, when they drink or while drinking, there's a tendency for them sleeping.
Okay.
So I'm asking whether it is the influence of alcohol or they too are sick. That's why they are sleeping during the day. Mostly at times they sleep in the day when they are drinking. They sleep even at night too when they are drinking.
Okay.
But if they are not drinking during the day, they don't sleep.
Okay. Noted. Thank you so much for participating in the program. You got a question?
Well, a person who sleeps
while drinking, either in the day or in the night.
In the night.
Only when they are drinking.
Only when they
don't drink. They don't drink. They're okay.
They're okay.
It's a complicated case. But I know more about the patient who, after meal, they have the tendency to doze or to sleep, and I can. Approach these patients, this case, to those who have the tendency to sleep after a meal. Yes, these are one of the reasons can be sleep apnea, a night sleep that is insufficient, and so this sort of patients need medical attention so that we know exactly what is going on. The fact that I sleep only after drinking is not enough. There are other information that we have to look for to understand exactly what we can do. But it's not normal that as soon as you drink, you sleep.
What role should family members and friends play in helping these people who are suffering with narcolepsy?
Yes, they have a serious
We have another call on the line. We'll come back to that. Hello?
Don't forget about obesity.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, where you're calling from, and your question.
Jen time for my place.
Didn't get you, please.
Jen time for my place.
Okay, sir. Go ahead with your question.
I want to ask the doctor one question.
Okay.
Then I want to ask, you must sleep after hours to sleep in the night.
The normal sleep pattern for a night is how many hours?
The normal sleep should be at least 6 hours. 6 hours to 8 hours in the night, or during all the daytime, all the 24 hours. Yes, you are described as insomniac if you sleep less than 6 hours in 24 hours. Some people sleep very little in the night, but they compensate it by a good sleep in the day.
Okay.
Well, they are not very normal, but they are not very sick. At least they compensate. They live normally. But as soon as you start sleeping less than 6 hours per 24 hours, it becomes a problem.
And we shouldn't equally exceed how many hours? We shouldn't exceed how many hours? Like
sleep more than how
many? You shouldn't exceed 11 hours.
Okay, a day.
A day.
Okay.
Yes, when you go above 11 hours, you become hypersomniac. You can be narcoleptic without being hypersomniac.
Yes. And back to the question of
diabetes.
Diabetes. When you become obesity means that you have a lot of weight. Okay. What can happen easily is that you have a lot of fats in your throat, and these fats modify the anatomy of the throat, and you start having sleep apnea.
Okay.
You have sleep apnea, and that sleep apnea can lead you to doze during daytime, to hypersomnolence.
We have a call on the
daytime.
line again. Come back to you, doctor. Hello.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, your question, and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Bulaberi.
Very okay.
Double.
Okay, sir.
And
Go ahead.
Your question.
what I want to ask is that when you are sitting with somebody, you are discussing, I just want to realize that 5 to 10 minutes before you get to sleeping. You will shake around, and go take it wrong. I'm tired. Because you can do it 5 to 10 minutes, you're sleeping. I don't know what it is.
You got a question?
Yeah.
You go to
It's what the doctor was explaining from the beginning of the program, that when you're discussing with somebody, the person starts sleeping, you even shake the person to wake up, but the person doesn't. How can we explain that? That's his question.
that you are discussing with somebody.
Yeah, and suddenly the person starts sleeping.
Like what you explained earlier.
That's what I call
Exactly.
sleep attack. It can be a sleep attack. You are discussing with him and then you start sleeping deeply. It can also be dozing. It's not sleeping deeply, it's dozing while you people are talking. Okay? So, but you have to make the difference between the one who have a sleep attack and the one who have dozing. Okay? The causes can be different. A sleep attack is something very spectacular. He does not just doze, he falls and sleep.
We're left with just 1 minute, I think. Last word for people who are suffering with this condition. And last word with them?
Last word is that that condition needs medical attention. Let them not go to prayers. Let them not go to these traditional people or these naturopaths. Everybody in Cameroon now, everybody is allowed to speak now. So there is a sort of confusion. So they let them not misconducted. They need a medical attention and a specialized attention.
Lucy, any last word?
Visit your hospital is important.
You got them well. Visit your hospital. Visit a specialist for sure. That
Specialist
was
for
Dr.
sleep
Jephte
medicine, yes.
MBANGUE. That will put an end to today's edition of the program. You and your health on Equinoxe Radio Multimedia. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe and I receive technical assistance from Bertrand Bonzini and Jonathan Babula. Have a wonderful day in the company of more interesting programs, of course, on Equinoxe Radio and television. Bye-bye for now.